All right, get this. Babies born as early as 22 weeks, and we're talking near zero survival rate. That's a tough reality, but that's what we're dealing with in this deep dive. Artificial wombs, that's the tech, and how it could completely change the future, especially in Singapore. And to break this down, we have our expert here tackling this Biospectrum Asia piece. I gotta say, it's a wild ride.
It is. It's really something. We're past the sci-fi stage here. This is real, and it can change everything.
Exactly. And this isn't just some theoretical what if. This article dives right into how this tech is relevant right now, especially in Singapore. Rising premature births, later motherhood, more and more people using IVF, it all adds up. They're facing these challenges head on.
It's amazing how they connect that 22-week stat, that almost no chance of survival, to what artificial wombs could do. Jump ahead to week 28, and the survival rates go way up. That's why this tech is so crucial. It's like speeding up a baby's development to get them to that point where they can actually survive.
Okay, so try to picture this. You're a parent, and your baby is born way too early, incredibly premature. Artificial wombs, they offer a chance, but at what cost? And it's not even just about the money, though this article goes there too.
You're right. The ethical side of this is huge. We can't ignore it. The author really makes you think, just because we might be able to save these extremely premature babies doesn't mean they'll live without challenges. You know, underdeveloped lungs, maybe problems with their vision, even cerebral palsy. These are all real risks, and parents need to know about them.
It's a lot to process, for sure. The emotional weight on those families, the uncertainty. And on top of that, the article even mentions that this tech, at least at first, will probably be even more expensive than NICUs, and those are already ridiculously pricey. So you've got the emotional strain, and then the financial strain on top of it.
That's a huge issue, and it makes you think about fairness, right? Who gets access to this life-saving technology? Is it just going to be the wealthy? Will it make healthcare inequality even worse?
This is where the article gets really interesting, and it actually suggests a solution for Singapore specifically. You mean their national insurance idea, right? So for everyone listening, imagine a system kind of like MediSave, which they already use in Singapore for healthcare. The author suggesting something similar for artificial wombs. Make sure everyone has access, not just a select few. It's using something that already exists in a whole new way. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I think it's smart. They even talk about sliding scale, so families with more money contribute more. It's trying to balance the cost and make it fair. But even if we solve the money problem, the ethical issues don't just disappear. Imagine this technology getting so good that it can support a baby for a full 9 months. That's when things get really crazy.
Hold on tight, everyone listening, because now we're going deep into what happens if artificial wombs aren't just about saving premature babies, but about maybe changing how we see pregnancy altogether.
Think about a world where women don't have to be pregnant to have a child. No more putting their careers on hold, no more complications from pregnancy. It could even be an option for same-sex couples who want biological children.
Oh,
Yeah.
just wow. That's huge. But we got to be realistic here. This kind of huge change, it brings with it a whole new set of ethical questions, don't you think? It almost feels like it's getting too easy to like mess with nature, you know? Like, is pregnancy going to be seen as something that needs to be fixed instead of just like a natural part of life? And then there's this whole other thing, like, what if only rich people can afford to have kids naturally? That's kind of scary to think about.
Yeah, it's like something straight out of a dystopian future.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to why it's so important to have some rules, some kind of guidelines as this technology keeps developing. The author actually calls out the Singaporean Ministry of Health directly,
Yeah.
saying they need to step up and set some boundaries.
So it's not just like, ooh, shiny new tech, everyone go wild. What kind of safeguards are they even talking about? What should be in place?
One of the big ones is informed consent.
Yeah.
And they're really serious about it, like really making sure it's airtight. And you gotta remember, we're talking about the most vulnerable patients here. Premature babies. The parents, they need to know everything, all the risks, all the benefits. It has to be crystal clear.
It's a huge decision to go that route. No parent should feel pressured or like they have to rush into something like that without knowing all the facts.
Exactly. Totally agree. And they also talk about keeping track of the kids who are born this way, long-term monitoring, following their development, seeing if there were any consequences down the road, stuff we didn't anticipate.
Oh, wow. So it's like this massive research study, but it's ongoing, just making sure we're not missing any side effects or anything.
Precisely. And then, of course, the big one.
Hmm.
Everyone should be able to access this. The cost shouldn't be what prevents a family from using this technology if they need it. Everyone should benefit.
Which brings us back to the solution, the national insurance thing. It's a pretty creative way to try to even the playing
All
field.
right, and it highlights how we need to think outside the box here. It's not just about the tech itself, it's about who gets to use it and making sure it doesn't create more problems than it solves.
Basically making sure this incredible advancement actually helps people, not just a select few.
Exactly. And the author leaves us with this really thought-provoking question at the end. It really stuck with me.
Okay, hit us with it. What's the big question we should be asking ourselves about all of this, about artificial wombs?
They ask, if or perhaps when this technology becomes normal, commonplace, how will it change how we see parenthood, family, even what it means to be human? How will we define those things?
That's a big one to grapple with, isn't it? We're
Yeah.
talking about potentially like redefining what it means to be
It
human.
really makes you think, It's like we're not just talking about a medical breakthrough here. This could change everything.
And that's what's so crazy about this whole thing. I mean, we're talking about something that could revolutionize, well, society, humanity. It's not just some incremental thing.
It is wild and kind of exciting in a way, right?
Hmm.
We could be looking at a future where there's less suffering, where we're pushing the limits of what's possible.
Absolutely. But, and the article kind of hits on this too, we have to be careful. Like this kind of power, this kind of technology, we have to be responsible with it.
Yeah, they make a really important point, which is that we need to talk about this stuff now. Like, not after it's already here and changing everything, but right
Mm.
now while we still have a chance to figure things out.
Because once it's out there, there's no going back. Right.
Exactly. We have a responsibility to get this right, to make sure this benefits everyone if it happens, that it doesn't just make existing problems worse.
That's what it comes down to. This has been one of those deep dives that really gets you thinking, wouldn't you say?
For sure. We started with premature babies and ended up talking about, like, the future of humanity. That's quite a journey.
It really is. And for everyone listening, as we keep moving forward with this technology, with artificial wombs, keep asking those big questions. What role will it play in the world? What role will it play in your life? It's a conversation that's just getting started. This has been quite a journey, but that's all the time we have for today. Until next time.